This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Bruno. It's a huge one tonight as the Raptors host the Pistons. And to know how big this game is, you just gotta take one look at the standings, as you'll see Detroit comfortably in first in the Eastern Conference, with Toronto sitting in fifth. But they are getting dangerously close to the play-in, as they're just 3 games up on Orlando for that 7th seed and the play-in. For Toronto tonight, though, they're definitely catching a break, as the suspension news from the Hornets-Piston brawl the other night just came down. Isaiah Stewart will get 7 games, while Jalen Duren will get 2. On the Hornets side of things, Bridges and Diabate both got 4. So it looks like the Raps catch a break tonight, with Detroit missing both their centers. Now on the Raptors side of things, today could officially be the day, as Jakob Poeltl is questionable for tonight's game with that back injury, but he has gone through a full practice. CMB remains out tonight with that thumb injury. Now since the Yak injury, Toronto's actually been pretty good, as they're 15-9 since he went down late December, which is actually the 7th best record in the NBA during that stretch. The Pistons are small road favorites tonight in Toronto, as they're laying a 1.5, with the total set 222.5. And you can watch the Pistons and Raps tonight on TSN. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern. Tuesday was a disappointing day for the Canadian women's hockey team, as they lost to the Americans 5-0 in the prelims. Obviously, they were without their captain, Marie-Philippe Poulin, but the loss is one of the most lopsided we've ever seen from this Canadian team at the Olympics. Prior to these games, the Canadians had gone 6 consecutive Olympics without losing a preliminary game, and the 5 goals allowed was equal to or more than they'd given up in the entire Olympics from 2002 to 2014. Just think about that stat for a second and how crazy that is. So we're actually in uncharted territory for this squad, especially when it comes to results against the US. Going back to last spring's World Hockey Championship, the Americans have won 7 straight games against Canada, and they've done so in dominating fashion, outscoring the Canadians 30-11 in that stretch. The question now is, how do these Canadian women get revenge, and are they good enough to do so? Canada automatically gets a quarterfinal game, which they'll play Saturday against an opponent that has yet to be determined. But after that, there will be some reseeding that will happen, and another big game against the US is definitely on the horizon. I'm sure you were all watching the same time I was. It was a tough go. It was a tough go, I'll say that. Now joined by our gambling guy, Wes Chang. Great to see you, Wes.
Hey, great to see you, Marissa.
Wes, lately in these segments, we've seen a common theme with your best bets, and that's teams with good bigs gobbling up boards on the Raps' front court. Well, Jakob Poeltl is questionable tonight, and the Pistons will be without Jalen Duren and Beef Stew. So how are you approaching tonight's game, giving these changes to your normal process?
To be honest, this is a stand-down situation. Even if Jakob Poeltl's still out of the lineup, who on the Detroit front court is going to be able to take advantage? Jalen Duren's out. Beef Stew's going to be out. I just don't know who's going to be the guy from their end to capitalize. But once Poeltl does return, like all things related to betting, your edges, they run out eventually. Just got to go find something new. But the other point that I think matters in this situation, Beef Stew and Duren have only missed 2 games together all season. There's just not a large enough sample size to really be able to take advantage of that. So at this point, I just say sit back, relax, and enjoy the game.
Okay, Wes, we need a best bet for tonight.
I think this game sets up to go under the game total. These are 2 of the top defenses in the NBA. The Pistons are number 2, only behind the Thunder. Now, while I get Jalen Duren, Beef Stew going to be out of the lineup, a little bit less rim protection, I actually think this hurts them on the offensive end more than anything. Cade's not going to have his typical pick and roll partner. They're not going to have as many easy looks around the rim or on putbacks. But these are also 2 of the bottom 10 worst three-point shooting teams. I think that's going to show up in a matchup like this tonight. But going back to Detroit's defense, they are one of the most aggressive, athletic, and cohesive units, very similar to the wings that the OKC has. I think the Raptors are going to run into a lot of trouble dealing with them tonight.
Wes Chang, a pleasure as always.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And you can watch the Pistons and Raps tonight on TSN. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern. Time now for my favorite segment and yours that we love sports today.
Why we love sports today.
And this is one of the most wholesome things we've seen in forever, and is really what the Olympics are all about. The first time I saw this, I thought, I don't even know how I would contain myself if I saw all of these incredible Canadians getting on the subway the same time I was. I don't know. I would ask them for a pic, maybe. That's unprofessional. No, I wouldn't. I'd be cool. Also kind of random to be riding right beside Tom Wilson on your way home from work if you live in Italy.
So it's a cool experience and it's so different from my life. Yeah. I'm used to next year.
We're now joined by Clair DeGeorge, who's coming to us from Holland Bloorview Kids Hospital. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Marissa. It's nice to be on the call here with you. We've just gotten here to the hospital, been hanging out with some of the kids. They've been showing us around. Little Finley's been taking us around your room. and we've been able to meet some other kids, and we're having a good time.
This is the 10th annual Capes for Kids fundraiser. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing today?
Yeah, so we're here to support the Capes for Kids fundraiser. I believe it's all started through kind of kids are resilient, and it's their little superpower. So for them to be able to put this cape on, and for them to not only for us to give them the joy and like the strength to keep pushing, they give us that. Kids are so resilient, and we learn a lot from them as well.
I can imagine a day like today is really special for you as well as the kids.
Yeah, it's kids teach us so much, and I think that sometimes that's missed, but they're honestly 10 times smarter than we always are, and they always see the joy and the happy side of things, and to be able to see that and be reminded of those things is very special for really anyone.
We're chatting right after your American women just swamped the Canadian women at the Olympics. I'm wondering if you had any bets going with the girls going into this one. I know one of your best friends is Annette.
And that Erin's one of my best friends from high school, and she's amazing. So I'm so happy for her that she's gotten this opportunity. I am American, and I fully support them in this endeavor, and it's been amazing to see like they had those dreams growing up, and to see them make those dreams come true. It kind of comes back to the hospital here, is that these kids have their dreams, and we're trying to help them see their dreams as well.
Claire, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us today.
Yeah, thank you, Marissa.
That's it for us today. We'll start picking around 3 Eastern, no Pacific. Have a good one.